this oil-based grain filler. You can see here in natural, you have to open it on the top. We have to stir it up because it does settle in there. And then if it's too thick, you can thin it with mineral oil. We're not going to do that today. Then you apply it with a paintbrush, or in this case, we're going to use a latex glove. You can see in there how it's settled and separated, so we're going to give it a nice stir, and then we're going to apply it. And then once it's mixed up, you can see it there. A much better consistency. Like I said, you can add mineral oil if that's something you want to do. But now we're going to use the latex glove and apply it to the body. And we work it this way with the grain to work it into the grain to fill all those tiny holes. And then once you've got that wiped on, you have a bunch of excess sitting on top, so you can use a credit card to wipe it and clean it all off. So that's what we're going to do next. So you can see how we filled in a lot of our grain and made our surface a lot smoother, flatter for finishing, for priming. So now we just have to scrape that with the credit card and then get the sides of the body, scrape that, and then we have to let it dry according to the directions overnight, and then we will prime it. And so for the neck, we're not going to use the oil-based grain filler. We're going to use True Oil to fill in the back here. And on the front, we're just going to use primer and the nitro finish. So it could fall into the natural grain of the mahogany, and I think it'll look pretty cool. Next up, now that we've let that grain filler cure, we have 400 grit sandpaper. We're going to sand the body down, make it all nice and smooth before we prime it. Now that we've sanded it, we can wipe it down with some mineral spirits, then we can hang it up and spray it with the primer. Alright, we've got the body hung up, and now it is time to apply the primer. Alrighty, so we have taped off the headstock, so now we can hit that with the primer. Another day has passed and the primer has completely cured, so now we have to sand it down all nice and smooth. For that we use 400 grit sandpaper, and then we can finally spray in color. And now it's time for the good stuff. We have sage green nitrocellulose lacquer for the body color. A very cool metallic green. Let's get to it.
And now it's time for the second coat of color.
And so for cleaning and wiping down, we have odorless mineral spirits from Clean Strip, not a sponsor. You can use that to wipe it down instead of water so the wood grain doesn't swell. And so we have that at our disposal. Alright, it has been sanded all the way to 2000 grit, and now it is time for buffing and polishing. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the moment you've all been waiting for. The relicing of the guitar. You may or may not agree with the fact that I'm about to put this guitar up, but nonetheless, let's get to it. Screwdriver, Gibson multi-tool, wire brush, scraper, keys. inside. I wanna give you my love. I wanna give you my love. Hey, I want a whole lot of love. Got a whole lot of love. Got a whole lot of love. Got a whole lot of love. Here we have some coffee that we're going to use to color the wood, if you will. Got a whole lot of love. Alrighty, we are making progress. So now that we have some exposed wood, we're going to use some boiled linseed oil, which is like true oil, to seal the wood. It will also darken it a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we're gonna hit it with another coat and then maybe one more. All right, folks, well, I've discovered linseed oil is a scam. It never quite dries or cures. So we have another bottle of the trusty True Oil Birchwood Casey True Oil, which has linseed oil in it, but it also has varnish properties or ingredients that help it dry and help it finish smooth and shiny that linseed oil does not have. Linseed oil smells good and it darkens it and gives it a kind of sheen type thing, but it was still wet after overnight drying and it's not hard or shiny like true oil. So that's what we're gonna do, is put a coat or two of true oil, then we can get the desired effect that I was hoping for. Now that is more what I was looking for, the color, the evenness. Alrighty, next up for our headstock, we can get a good look at it here. We have a decal. We made a kind of Jazzmaster type decal, ABD Deluxe, or AB Deluxe. So let's go ahead and pop that on the headstock to see how that looks. And we're gonna hit it with a satin finish on top. Let's get to it. And there we are. Now we are going to hit it with a clear coat, about 3 or 4 clear coats before sanding and buffing it. So let's get to it. Here's a closer look at our headstock. We have 7 coats of clear gloss and it already looks great. We still have to buff it, but for now we're going to install it on the body. Next up, we're going to install the bridge or the trim roll. Nice and shiny. Nice. I'm the ice cream man and I've got a bunch of treats. I ride through the town and I play my little song. If you want some ice cream, you can come and get it from me now. I'm the motherfucking ice cream man.